Hello, hello, hello. This is Nancy here for another episode of I Love GH, but please forgive me. I am late. I know starting as of last week, Wednesday, things got really interesting when the issues hit the fan and Carly went on the warpath only to be kind of shut down before killing Nina, which is what I'm hoping for in the long run, by people defending her. And the only person not defending her is Jason and Jocelyn right now, having strong feelings. Michael just found out today, so Monday, the fourth day of October 2021. We're going to get into it and talk things all General Hospital. Let's get into it. All right, I'm back and I'm ready to get into it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. I don't know. I'm having a hard time. You know, the bomb was dropped and the explosion was not as loud as I wanted it to be. You know, Carly is on the rampage, justified, and she sure should be, and she should be allowed to commit any act of violence that she chooses at this time to take care of Miss Nina, because Miss Nina's got some balls on her. How you gonna step to the man's wife and talk crap? Try to throw things back in her face. Now, the one thing that she did do, which I knew was her reasoning behind doing this from the very beginning, was Nell. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Everybody wants to talk about, oh no, I don't think she's done it in malice. But the person that she admitted that she has committed these acts because of malice is Carly. She told the truth to Carly. She did it because she blames Carly for Nell, and she was going to get back at her any way that she could. And she went too far by using Sonny. So we're supposed to just forget that? That's supposed to be a slide by? I'm not understanding the attitude of people. This chick is walking around town giving her side of the story as a woe is me. I got all hooked up in what I was doing and I made a mistake. No, 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 no. You didn't make a mistake. You robbed a person of 9 months of their life and you did it consciously. Okay? You had all your memories. I don't care how the writers write your little stinky pink ass out of the corner, but you don't deserve to be let off with a slap on the wrist. Okay? And even worse than that, Sonny is protecting her. Sonny didn't even have the balls to tell his wife first every detail of what happened and then give that conversation to us on camera properly. No, she had to find out the truth, the rest of the truth, from somebody else. And then that somebody else being Maxie. What? Okay. So that's one thing. All right. And then to have people say, well, Carly, you shouldn't really blame her because. I beg your pardon? What is that supposed to mean? You mean, you know how many times my ass has been locked up because of the shit that I've done? And we're not just talking mental institutions. I almost died because your crazy ass daughter set me up to be crazy. I get locked up and almost get lobotomized by your crazy, your DNA. Okay? And so she popping off to Carly and thinking that she's got the upper hand, and then makes the snide remark about, you should be happy, you got him back, you got him back. In other words, I lost the man that I love, but you got the man that you love, so you should be grateful. She should be grateful after what you've done to me. Really? Is that how we gonna play this, writers? So once again, you're gonna let Carly, or you're gonna make Carly out to be the bad person, and Nina was just doing what she had to do to get back at her. Really? After everything that Nell did, Nell came in with the fire. It was not Carly who went after Nell, okay? And then when Carly got hit to the trick and protected herself, she got set up. Y'all set her up. And again, she almost got lobotomized. So her boy had to come once again to save the day. Had to. Because where was Sonny? Okay? Where was Sonny? And now Sonny wants to just kind of brush it under the rug what happened in Nixon Fall by not telling her the full details of his relationship with Nina. Because you have all those memories. So am I to think that this is not something that you're going to be wrestling with? But today he wants to be Mr. Lovey-Dovey. You know, my girl's got questions. You can see it. She's got questions. Excuse me. And it's coming at her. And I don't think she wants to ask too much. Because she's afraid of what she's going to find out. Excuse me. But there are hints and glimmers of these things because of his reaction when she said that she saw Nina and that she talked to her. He was really like, you talked to Nina? Like, why would you do that kind of attitude? What do you mean? Why wouldn't I talk to Nina? This woman stole you away from me and your family for 9 months. Am I not supposed to be pissed? Am I not supposed to have a reaction that says, kill this bitch? Am I not, as your wife, supposed to have questions about the time that you spent with this woman? Because she came back here twice and smiled up in our faces and played this holier than thou attitude because she deserves to be in Wiley's life. The whole time knowing that she was allowing herself to emotionally get involved with another woman's husband. Okay? If anybody did anything wrong, it was Nina and Sonny. Sonny, number one. Why? Because he allowed himself to get emotionally involved with this woman. Okay? Declare feelings for her. And now we're supposed to just all forget about it. We're out of the alternate universe. Everything's back to normal. No, things are not back to normal, dude. No. No, 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 no. I'm sorry. That's not how it works, and that's not how it should work. He should not be able to walk back into his life and be comfortable. I'm sorry. You have questions to answer. You had a whole relationship going with this woman that you were fighting for. Okay? And I'm sorry, I still cannot get past the whole, I don't care what my past was, I don't want to know, I'm happy now. Giving Nina that tool to throw that into your wife's face. And to see her eyebrow go up like, I beg your pardon? What do you mean by that? Okay, because you would have to explain that shit to me. Okay, because you guys got a secret I don't know nothing about. So what's gonna happen? Sonny's gonna end up sleeping with Nina here in Port Charles. He gonna end up on the sneak around, and then he always want to know, well, why is Jason? Wait. You don't need to worry about Jason. Jason stepped aside for you. Okay, Jason's in limbo, and that's not even right. Number one, number two, and number three. We all agree on that. And if you don't, you need to explain to me why. So you know what to do. Make your comments. Like if you like what we're talking about. Put your what ifs and your questions in there. Subscribe so we can keep it going. But what we're gonna do is keep it going. Okay, because I'm not understanding. Okay. All the way to pulling up today where she tells Curtis, and even Curtis is like, oh baby, it's all right. Are you kidding? I'm not understanding. I am so not understanding that. So what, you're her friend. You Mr. So big on the truth. So it is a double standard. She gets to get away with this because why? Why? What is the justification for her mistake? For her going too far? Are you serious right now? And then to try to check Michael and Willow, I won't even say Willow because Willow had really nothing to say. Okay, she's standing behind her man. But Michael is like his mother. Excuse me, bitch? And then Curtis is going to try to check him? Oh, haven't we all made mistakes? And then they, and it would be a loss for Wiley. So what? Why should he have to pull from that gene pool any more than he already has? And that's by the fact that it's running through his veins, the nail part. Vis-a-vis the crazy Nina part. The Reeves family. Are you kidding me? How is he benefiting from having her in his life? I don't think she's beneficial to him. I think she's more than anything a detriment because all she's going to do, as we have seen, is say snide and little underhanded things, half truths under her breath to a child. Okay? A child. So that means she's instilling these little doubts about the people around him. However you want to take that. Every chance she gets. And that is going to retain. Because children don't forget. Hello. They don't forget things. They just like little sponges. It just gets all absorbed into their skin. Becomes part of the osmosis. Like a plant. When you sprinkle it to fertilize other plants. To get the pollen out. Come on. That's what this is to me. That's the problem. Nina is the problem. You can say the same thing about Liesl when it comes to Maxie's kids, James. And if she lets her around the other one, you have to take that into consideration. But see, Liesl's different because Liesl seems to know how to restrain herself. Okay? Seems to know how not to show that side of herself obviously around her grandson. And if it does come to pass when he gets older that he starts to see that side of her, then that's something that we may witness in our lifetime. But right now, James is a little boy of 4 or 5, 3 or 4. Nope, 4 or 5. So, because he would be around the same age as Avery. So, what's up? I'm just puzzled as to how this woman is just walking around comfortably. And because Carly is wanting blood, People are like, oh, but what about what you've done in the past? This ain't about me. This is not about me. This is not about Carly, because right now Carly didn't do anything wrong. Carly didn't do anything wrong. She was at home grieving for her husband, okay? Fighting emotions. That's what she was doing for 9 months, because people told her her husband was dead, and because he was a mobster and he's no longer around, in order for you to stay alive, you must now become a mobster. So she stepped up. She hadn't had time to grieve. Her best friend's place has changed from being by her side to in her place if they don't get married, because the expectation is, if you follow mob lore, is that there can't be two leaders. Even though we have five families, but there can't be two leaders. So it can't be two leaders in one family. That's what they're going with. Okay. So in order for the Correntos family to stay in place, this is what they had to do. And then they were forced in the position of declaring the man dead when they weren't ready to do that. So they had to give up the search. They didn't want to do that. So they were doing what they needed to do to look for him. But meanwhile, you had Mike stating out loud several times, roll the tape if you have it, that he was not interested in finding out who he really was, that his watch was okay, and the wedding band meant nothing. That's basically what he said. So this is where we are. I'll be right back. I'm going to get some tea for this throat. All right, I'm back. I had to go get my tea. It's sitting over here steeping, and that's going to help my throat. This is a really, really great herbal tea that I'm trying now. It has chamomile and lavender and this really long word that I can't pronounce. Which is a type of flower, but it is so calming. It is so wonderful, and it's also supposed to help me sleep. So we'll see what happens. It's not my first time drinking it. Last time I had it, it did help me a little bit. So let's continue on down this road called General Hospital and talking all things B. Are we talking about Nina, Jason, Carly, and Sonny? Do we need to go any further at this point? Because, like I said, as of today, after oh my God, I almost let it slip through the pages. Basically, Jax. Carly confronted Jax, and even Jax was like, "Wait, all right." When I first watched it, and this sometimes I want to curse frequently because Jax Jax makes you want to just kill him. And you know what's even worse about Jax is when you watch old episodes of the show involving Jax, he is they consistent about his funkiness. He's funky. I'm all that. You should be grateful I'm alive kind of attitude is like, I mean, I wish Jocelyn would see her father for who he really is. I'm sorry to say that. Just like everybody is like for Sonny's children to see him for who he is, that, he's this proposed monster and he kills people for a living. No, actually, he doesn't. He imports coffee and he has several casinos and businesses where he can launder money, which is actually a lot safer than smuggling drugs and guns back and forth, which is, not something that he does. And he's not usually the person that creates the violence. It's usually people coming in, creating the violence through his territory because he has the harbor. But that's not why we're here, is it? That's not why we're here. But Jax gets to just say what he wants to about people. And why is that? Why is it that Jax can be a judge, jury against Sonny when he is no better? If anything, to me, he's less of a man than Sonny. Okay, because at least Sonny is upfront with his shit already. Okay, at least Sonny owns up to who he is and has no qualms about saying who he is. Okay? And living his life accordingly. And if he gets busted, what does he do? He suffers the consequences unless he can get out of the town. But what does Jax do? Boo-hoo, whine, cry. And he's defending Nina against the mother of his child. That's more important because his balls itch and he ain't had none in a while. So he I brought him back. I knew it would be big trouble for me to bring Sonny back to you, but I did anyway. You're welcome. Oh, but do we know that you also wanted to leave him to burn to death in a fire and made no effort to try to save the man's life? None whatsoever. So I'm not understanding. I'm so not understanding. And the scenes, it's like I just wanted to slap him. I just wanted to jump through the TV and just slap all of the air out of his body. And then when Jocelyn came in and she's mediating between her parents, and poor Carly, she can't say what she really wants to say because she doesn't want her daughter to know how much of an asshole her father really is. And the fact that he knew just as much as Nina did and could have stopped a lot of things from happening that did not have to happen. And one of those things was Pandora's box being open when it comes to the relationships that changed, Jason and Carly, and the necessity for a wedding, the necessity for him to have to break out of prison because he's being set up by Cyrus and Peter. I mean, all these different things that she played a part in the timeline. She altered things from the road that they were supposed to be on. And it's like she's not going to be taking responsibility for any of that. Come on now, what does that really say? So for Jackson, all these other folks to want her to give her a pass, as Sonny says she's a very sad and troubled woman. Well, that sad and troubled woman needs her life ripped apart. She needs her ass whooped. That's what she really needs. Okay? That's what I want. Carly walked into that Quartermain house and she just, there should have been a slap in the face. There should have been a slap in the face. I'm sorry. Call me crazy, but after what you've done, and then you have the gall to admit the reason why you did it was because of Crazy Nell, because you want to hold on to this notion that I say again, let Nell die. She didn't let Nell die. She may have hesitated for a second. But again, I would have thought the same thing. This chick is going to try to pull me over. She's faking. She's going to try to pull me over because that's what she does. She gets you in a compromising situation, and then you're the one that ends up flying off the cliff. Well, this time it didn't work. Nell is dead. And before you found out that she was your daughter, You thought she was just as bad as everybody thought she was. So, because you saw the truth of this girl. So now you want everybody to feel sorry for you because you didn't get an opportunity to nurture the crazy when you crazy yourself? Come on. Give me a break. But we're going to move on because I have literally spent 25 minutes on one subject, okay? And there is definitely other things that we need to talk about in the show. We've got a confession. A full confession this time, but still with a little bit of a cover up in there. Spencer told the truth. Spencer had no choice but to tell the truth because Trina, Jocelyn, and Cameron set them up. Set up him and Esme. And I knew it was coming, and Trina, bravo. Bravo. Okay? It went a little too far, but that wasn't your fault. That was the fault of the genius Miss Esme, who thought she was going to have the upper hand by stepping to a man she doesn't even know from Adam, and doesn't her know her from Eve, to tell him something and then exaggerate the lie to the point that you not knowing this man and his headspace right now is going to head straight to the island and straight to Nicholas because he's not having it. Nobody takes my daughter. And the thing that troubled me about the whole thing, though, is you just finished talking to Ava. Ava was just at your house right before you went to the hospital. Ava, and Carly had a warm moment. Well, Ava, Carly, and Sonny had a warm moment when it came to Avery. So he should have already known it was a lie. Okay, so I didn't understand how that really played out. But okay, fine. Y'all wanted to give us a little bit of a firework and show us the old Sonny, where he shows up at Castelline Castle with two heavily armed guards, and he's ready to take Nicholas out back and shoot him like a dog. Okay, you wanted to give us a little taste of the old Sonny. Okay, so it got Spencer to tell the truth. Okay, now I think it would have been more effective if he would have told the truth. Excuse me, with Esme in the room, so that she would be backed up into a corner to tell the truth. But he took responsibility for Esme burning the car when he didn't tell her to do that. Okay, remember when he got along with her the first time when she first showed up, and she told him that she burned Ava's car to kind of throw the scent off of him. He was like, why would you do that? I never said do anything like that. But regardless of that, he has to take responsibility, Spencer, for terrorizing Ava and using Avery. That was disrespect on a level that you just should not be going. Okay, number one, she's your cousin. Okay, of your beloved uncle. Number two, why would you do that? Anything else but. And even using Kiki was foul. You talking about I wasn't raised with a mother. I never had a mother. So you thought it was okay to use Avery and Kiki's dead. So you thought that was okay. This is and now he's using, that's what Spence Cassadines do. That's what Cassadines do. What did I say the other day about Spencer and how he was raised in the Cassadine way? So his behavior is expected. So are we going to let this go and justify it? And Laura warned him. She warned Nicholas that this was going to happen. Okay? She did warn him. But she's no better because she let him sit in boarding schools. thinking that that was going to be helpful to him. But what would have been helpful to him was to stay in Port Charles, leave Cassadine Island, grow up in his grandmother's house with Kevin and Laura, and spend time with his cousins because she had plenty of time for Elizabeth's boys, holidays for Elizabeth's boys, making time to go out and meet them at Kelly's and everything, and you couldn't do the same thing for Spencer? Try to incorporate him into the fold because he's alone? Okay? Even though he was older than Charlotte and Rocco, those are still his cousins. And he was spending no time with them. None. None. And especially once he did leave Cassadine Island, he was staying with Laura for a little while as a boy before she shipped him back off to Paris. When he supposed, broke his legs. We know he was working on another job, but he broke both his legs. So you thought it was better for him to stay in Paris when you own private planes, family has private planes, availability of private planes, or even a boat. He could have came by boat, train, if they're talking about the altitude and because both of his legs were broken. So I'm sorry, writers, you kind of blew it there. So because he's an entitled little spoiled brat, he's gonna behave that way. Now, Trina, Jocelyn, and Cam, they came up a really good way to do it, but what they didn't count on again was Esme. Esme taking it to the next level by stepping to Sonny. And you still need to explain to me why this young lady feels the need to go all across town and step to people that she does not know. She don't know. I don't know you. I would have been like, who are you? Why are you here? Why are you telling me something about my family? I don't know you. I have not been formally introduced to you. So why are you in my face, little girl? Get out. Get out of my face, little girl. She would not have been able to get that close to me. Okay? And I was so glad that Jocelyn was following her. I was so glad that Jocelyn was following her. Oh my goodness. Because if she would have heard what she would have said, but they didn't even need that. The simple fact that they had a picture. Okay, they had the picture, and then when they showed the picture to Spencer, you think Spencer would have ran in that house a lot faster. Oh boy, because I would have been like, oh shit, my uncle is here, and he's here to kill my father because he thinks that my father's coming to run away with his daughter. But that's not what you do. That's not what you do. What you do is have Sonny overreact justifiably, but it was still an overreaction on some level. Nicholas tried to puff up his chest against Sonny, which we know is like completely ridiculous, but he continues to do it. So okay, and why Nicholas thinks even as Tyler Christopher he couldn't puff up to Sonny. So it's like, dude, you need to stay in your lane, okay? Because he needs a slap in the face from time to time. Sincerely, he really does, because it's like he's another Peter. They come from this family upbringing where they just kind of inbreed and behave as inbreeders. I don't know. It's this privileged behavior that think that they can just take apart people's lives and just get away with everything. And it's ridiculous. It's completely ridiculous. So for Nicholas now, as of today, to react the way he is reacting to Spencer's truth, okay, even though I still think he needed to say, I didn't do everything. Esme had a big hand and stuff. Okay, because I'm sorry, she probably the one that came up with the idea of putting the Ryan's voice in a bear and giving it to a child, because she obviously does not have any qualms about using a child. So I don't know. I don't know. But busted now, and Ava knows the truth as well. I thought she handled it rather well, but then again, she may not be finished with him, but he's kicked out. Nicholas' answer was to kick the boy out. Him and Esme are kicked out of the castle, and what that was Esme's response because she couldn't get a hand, get blah, 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 Spencer on the phone fast enough, and she's roaming around town, thinking she done won. I'm going to celebrate. I'm going to go to the Savoy and have a drink, you underaged idiot. Did you think Curtis was really going to fall for that one? But okay. All right. She's just going to run around town and think she's got a, oh, I've got to win. I've got to win. No, dear, because you're busted. So the rest of that's it. She's got to hit the fanish because that little girl needs to be put in check. Okay, because and another thing, while she was roaming around town, she went to see Ryan. How are you able to get access to visit a psycho criminal killer? I mean, how do you get that? Whether he's locked down or not. You're not a family member. Don't you have to have authorization from his nearest kin, which would be Kevin, permission to go see him and to have access to this person in this prison? It's a prison. It's not a resort. And even if she's using Alexis's name, you're not visiting Alexis. So what's up with that? What's up with that? Are we not supposed to notice the flaws in that? That this girl is just walking about town like she's been there for 20 years? Come on. I'm not with that. I'm not with that at all. Okay, but she even got Ryan up in arms. Ryan is looking at this little girl like, we are looking at the devil's spawn. Okay, he's sitting there with his eyes. He's like blinking, like y'all need to check this little girl. Okay, she is not all that she says. She's a whole lot more. Okay, all right. Now we're gonna move on to Brooklyn talking to Ned, which the women in the family want to deny the fact that Leo is showing signs of being on the autistic spectrum. I want to say it right, autistic spectrum. Which part of the spectrum we don't know, but we know that he is not sleeping. We know he is not communicating. We know that he is ignoring people when they are speaking with him, which not necessarily out of just ignoring them. It's just that he is not speaking. He is not being communicative. So that's what the topic is going to be next about this child. Is going to be about autism, but of course, when Ned brings it up to Brooklyn, she thinks that Austin is just trying to use Leo to get in with the family. And I said the same thing, but I'm also saying I really hope that's not what he's doing. Okay? If everything is going forward with the court situation, then there's no reason for you to try to use this small child to worm your way into the hearts of the family by finding out that he is autistic. I hope that his reasonings for wanting to help Leo are genuine. And again, I'm sorry. I really wish they would just recast again Austin's character because Roger is not doing it for me in this character role at all. It looks like, it appears anyway, that they're trying to pair him up with Maxie, and I'm just not feeling that because again, he was meant to deliver her baby. He was not just walking through those woods. He was working with Peter. So I'm sorry, until that is found out one way or the other, he is proven innocent or guilty. He is under suspicion and a person of interest in that situation for me. I'm not letting that go. If you agree with me, comment, let me know how you feel. Okay, because I've got my spidey sense up when it comes to Austin. But I do think that people should listen to what Ned is saying about Leo. The last scenes that they did with him, they were really kind of touching. The little boy who is playing Leo is doing a good job of displaying the possible traits of autistic behavior. So we'll see where that goes. But I know that Olivia is gonna fight tooth and nail to admit the truth. She is not going to want to recognize the facts. I'm not sure why Dante hasn't mentioned. Oh yeah, I do know why Dante hasn't mentioned anything or any suspicions, because Dante's wrapped up in his own little world called Sam. Him and Sam are now on the road. They are in Monte Carlo, dressed to the nines. Him in his white and black tuxedo. Her in a beautiful off the shoulder little black dress to tantalize with the boobies up at attention, in the same casino that they use every time they go to Europe, usually Monte Carlo. I guess there's only one casino to go to in the soap opera world. So there you are. They're trying to get some information on Drew by following up on one of Shiloh's connections, which was this Dallas dude. Okay, so they're in cahoots and they're in pursuit and they're doing their little spy thing. So we'll see how that works out. I'm a little bored with them, so you know what I did. Fast forward. Because my biggest question every time I see them together, especially Sam, is where are the kids? Alexis is in jail, so she can't take care of them. So did you leave them with Molly and TJ and Christina at the house? Because we know Christina is supposed to always be here, but we just don't see her because she's either in the house or she's at the bar. So now that her father's alive, I don't know, maybe we'll get some more airtime for it. I doubt it. But we can wish for it, can't we? Because it would be nice to see Lexi get some more airtime. But Sam and Dante, I'm sorry, I'm not with it. I'm just a little bored with them. So Liesel and Drew have made it to contact each other. Well, they've met. Okay, they've met. They've been thrown in the same cell. Again, we know that she's taking care of him, and they're going to come up with a plan. So that's what I'm looking forward to see how they're going to get out of the situation. I think Miss Chloe has been put into an induced coma by the doctor because we now know the doctor works for Victor Cassadine as well as everybody at the cantina where Anna and Valentine were drinking the grappa until he passed out cold. Sure. Tomorrow, Tuesday, the 5th of October, I believe that's probably where we're going to end up talking about that, hitting those areas. But we also have the reunion now of Nicholas and Ava. So I want to see what's going to happen with that. Are they just going to fall back into the sack and think everything's going to be okie dokie and Spencer's going to be left out in the cold? Where is Spencer going to go? If he has no money, is he going to go try to run to his Uncle Sonny's because he doesn't want to go back to his grandmother's house and stay with Kevin because Kevin is not really going to want Esme to stay there? And then and if he does decide to go to Sonny's and the writers put that in there, Sonny and Carly is not going to let Miss Esme stay there because of what she's done and because Jocelyn's going to be like, oh, hell to the no, that bitch ain't coming in my house. You're lucky if she gets to cross the threshold. Okay. But there you have it. That's where we are right now. If I missed anything, please remind me because it's a lot. And I'm on this roller coaster saying, wait a minute, why are you pausing so much? Can we go up the hill a little further before we drop down? And if we drop down, I want it to be a serious, but I don't really like roller coasters to tell you the truth, my friends. But if I'm going to be on a roller coaster, because I'll do anything once, and if I don't like it, then I don't have to do it again. So I need Nina to suffer. I need Drew to be found and get this over with because Sam, where are the kids? Who's got the kids, Sam? Are they at the Quartermains in the family nursery like the English folks do? The kids got their own part of the house till they're 13. I don't know. But there you have it. Thank you for being here with me, hanging out, watching the latest episode of I Love GH. But tell me what you think. Like, share, comment, subscribe. If you don't catch us in the feed, then please make comments underneath because I do miss some comments sometimes. People come on as we're going off. And, I feel like I've been talking long enough, but dang, folks, y'all be jumping in on the end. So I hope to see you there. Let's talk General Hospital. Thank you for sticking around for another episode to the end of I Love GH, but have a good night.